This is the Prostate Pit Stop. One man's journey, everyone's fight. With Keith Smith and Matt McCleary. Sponsored by the Ferry Project. Visit our website, ferryproject.org.uk. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Prostate Pit Stop. I'm Matt.
Hi, and I'm Keith.
And we are here chatting all about prostate cancer and Keith's journey through it all. So, Keith, last time we spoke, you had just had an operation. So how have things been since the operation? How's sort of your first stage of recovery been?
Okay, so it's now 2 weeks since the operation, and I've mentioned in the last podcast just how impressed I was by the fact that I come out of the operation and felt pretty good, actually. I certainly didn't feel like I just had a major operation, which I had. Being in surgery for over 3 hours, by anybody's standards, is quite a serious operation. So in fact, that's just continued. I'm continuing to feel pretty well. I've needed very little pain relief. I've been, very blessed by that. And I'm gradually getting stronger. I've got to be careful. I can get tired quickly. And that's the key thing I've noticed. I just haven't got stamina. But all in all, it's going very well. And we can talk about some of the interesting experiences I've had in that process over the last couple of weeks. The particular one we can have a chat about is the catheter. That is an experience and a half, I tell you.
Indeed. So I'm glad you're still feeling good. That's great. But yeah, so what have been some of the challenges since your operation?
Okay, so some of the challenges, the key one is, as I say, just the limited amount of energy you've got. So first couple of weeks, I hardly went out of the house at all, and that includes going in the garden. So not being able to lift things, although I have been able to make a cup of tea and stuff like that. But simply doing day-to-day stuff, you can't do a lot of it. And I know full well that certainly over the last couple of weeks, I couldn't have. Well, I made my first meal yesterday, so I enjoy cooking, and I would normally cook for the family a couple of times a week. But the first time I did anything was yesterday, and it was fine. A bit slower than normal. I did something incredibly simple. But I see that as a step forward. So it gives you an idea. I haven't done any type of cleaning or helping with around the house. I've done odd bits and pieces on my computer, just doing little things. But yeah, most of the time it's just about taking things steadily. I'm watching TV, watching the Bargain Hunt, the Marvel series. I don't watch much daytime TV, but I do like the Marvel films, so I've been watching those. That's my cup of tea. And my poor wife has been subjected to a whole series, and she's coped with it very well.
Now, to put that in perspective, you not being able to do very much, you've been very active up until the operation.
Absolutely.
Being a CEO of a charity and all that. So just tell us what one typical day might have been like before the operation in terms of stamina and energy and all that kind of thing, and appointments and juggling, which is why it's such a change for you now.
Okay. So I was the founder and the CEO of Ferry Project. So Ferry Project is a homelessness charity. And so I've been running that since its beginning, which was 27 years ago. So where we'd got to before I found out I had cancer, was an average day would have been, I'd get up probably about 6 o'clock. I'd spend, some time getting myself ready for the day. I'm a Christian. So I spend time reading my Bible and praying and having time with God. But I get to work and start work probably between 8:30, and I would have in an average day probably 6 appointments with different individuals or organisations, lasting probably 6-7 hours of that day, and then I'd have to spend a couple of hours doing my admin work, some of that at work, some of that at home. I'd get home, and I live locally, so I walk to and from work, which is nice. It's a nice way to decompress. But then I'd do something in the evening. So I would have, in an average week, I'd have 4, possibly 5 meetings in the evenings as well. So that would have been and has been for the last 10 years my life. So I've been doing all that, and so 2 years ago you got us involved in a 10,000 step challenge, and when I did that, I found the benefits of actually doing it. So I've kept that up. So in an average day, before the operation, I was averaging 13,500 steps now. So I'd go out for a walk. Walking to and from work helped, but I'd also go for a walk by myself and walk around the park or in the country, or go sometimes with my wife. So it's fitting all that in. So quite busy. We have grandkids. I have 4 grandkids, 3 of them local. And so we like to spend time with the family as well at the weekends. So yeah, life's full, and I'm happy with that. I don't mind it being busy. I enjoy being involved in lots of things. So yeah, not being able to, my steps went down to 2,000 steps a day. So yeah, and yeah, and not being able to see people as much. So yeah, it's really quite a dramatic stop, really.
Yeah. And speaking of seeing people, I know you've had visits from various different people since your operation. How has that been? You know, because it might inform people who want to go and visit, or show sympathy to someone, or show encouragement and support.
All right.
But they don't know, should I visit? Should I not visit? If I do visit, how long should I stay? All these kind of practical questions that run through people's minds.
Yeah, so yeah, that's a really good question, Matt. So yes, it's nice to receive visitors. It's nice to know people care, and that's really good. It's useful if they're planned, because I can actually prepare. And the worst day, the busiest day, if you like, I had 3 different visitors, and by the end of that, I was really done in. But if my wife's very good, she's supportive. So on the whole, visitors stay for about half an hour, and if they don't twig that actually this is an effort on my part, she just gives them a little reminder. And so they normally leave within half an hour, 3/4 an hour, which is great. There's just enough time. We can chat, we can touch. They can see that I'm not, I've done well up from the operation, but I don't get totally wiped out. A good example of where one went wrong, she actually went out to do the shopping at the weekend and was out for a couple of hours, and somebody came unannounced and stayed for an hour and a quarter. And I got to the stage where I actually had to say, "You have to leave now." Okay. So I just said to him, "I'm sorry, you have to leave now. I've got to stop this." And they were totally unaware, had no concept at all that us talking and so on. So yeah, I suppose my tips would be book, actually arrange a time and be sensitive. It's really nice to be friendly and supportive and show you care, but half an hour, 3/4 an hour is enough. Even yesterday, we had somebody round who popped in in the evening, and they at 3/4 an hour they said, "You're looking a bit tired, would you like me to go?" And I just said, "I'm sorry, but yes, please." And they said, "Oh, okay, I won't take offense," and left. So yeah, it's just about being sensitive, isn't it? But
Yeah.
it's really nice to see people.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That would be really helpful for someone. Now, has anything surprised you during this time?
Oh, that's a good one. Surprised me. I'm surprised that the so little pain has surprised me. The catheter stuff, though, out of everything, that's the one over the last couple of weeks.
Okay, let's go there then. Let's go there. So
go on. So the catheter itself, really weird, really not uncomfortable, just strange. Okay, and this whole business of not having to consciously wee and forgetting about it and having a bag strapped to your leg and all that stuff is just strange, and the feelings with it are strange. But you do get used to it. I had to have it in for 12 days. When they took it out, that was people have had, oh, you'll have to be careful and it'll hurt. And no, it didn't. It was no worse than somebody ripping a plaster off. Okay. So that was all fine. But what is strange is the fact that I've lost my prostate. One of the muscles that control our wee is in there, on one of the valves that control the sphincter. And so now I'm having to learn how to wee without that. That is strange. And my beloved wife tells me that this is what women have to put up with all the time. So now I've got to be careful when I cough, because I can easily just wee accidentally at that point, or if I laugh. So I had to do all these pelvic floor muscles beforehand. So now I know what they're for. So that's the strange bit. It's actually just getting that. I'm glad to say I'm not incontinent, in the sense of it's not running all the time. I can control it most of the time. During the night, I haven't had an accident at all yet. So it's been 3 nights since I've had the catheter out. Mm-hmm. But during the day, cough, laugh, think about weeing, and I've got to clench my muscles, which is not something I'm used to at all.
Well, we hope that continues to improve as time goes past for you and for everybody else around you. No, that's great. I'm sure. Well, we'll check in again soon to find out how you're getting on in sort of your next phase, as it were, of the recovery journey. But thank you for sharing this initial stage with us, and thank you as well for listening to the Prostate Pit Stop podcast. Please like it, share your comments as well if the platform you're listening on facilitates that. It's all good stuff, and it all helps to spread the word and get the message out there. So thank you for listening. Thanks, Keith. We'll speak again soon.
See you, Matt. It's been a pleasure.
And goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Prostate Pit Stop, sponsored by the Ferry Project. Make sure you subscribe and share.